Hey guys, welcome back to Pops and Props. Today I will be answering your questions, so let's get right into it. Now before I get into the actual questions, I just wanted to let you guys know that if you ever want to be in a future video, make sure you follow me over on my socials, my Instagram, which is at Pops and Props YT, or on TikTok. They're both the same name. But that's where I mainly do my questions or Q&A is over on Instagram. So if you ever want to send questions and be featured in one of my videos, then head over to Instagram and do that. So the first question we are starting off with is, what is your favorite grail that you own? And this was kind of a toss-up because I have two. I have a personal grail and then I have an actual grail. So the actual grail, which is probably my favorite that I own, is Doug from Up. And this is actually a vaulted Funko Pop, and if I remember correctly, it is trending for $100 and something. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen right here. But that is probably my favorite grail that I own in my collection, which is an actual grail. And then for my own personal grail, I would probably say the Riddler chase from the Batman TV show. I really do love this one, and this was actually my very first Funko Pop that I bought, and that's what got me into collecting. And the next question actually kind of relates to the first question. It is your top grail that you want. And I really had to think about this one, and there were quite a few of the OG horror Funko Pop grails that I want. So I'll just pop up photos of them on the screen here. I do remember there's Ghostface from Scream. There is a chase version of Jason Voorhees, which is going for over $500, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, those are the main ones that I am looking for right now. And honestly, I probably won't buy them anytime soon because I don't really have that money to drop on Funko Pops at the moment. Next up, we have a really awesome question, and this is, do you collect anything besides Funko Pops? So let me go show you. Now to start off with things that I collect, I actually take blank Jason masks and I repaint them to make them look screen accurate or movie accurate. So this is my collection right here. I've got part 3, 4, 5, and 8. Up there is my own little design, and then there's Freddy versus Jason. I also do collect soda figures. Now these are only a few of them in my collection. I will probably have to rotate them ever so often, but that's another little thing that I collect. I also do collect pins, and this is my pin board here. I know it's a little pathetic, but I really hope to get a lot more Funko Pop YouTuber pins. So far, I only have Tristan, aka Top Pops, but it's gonna get there eventually. Next up, we have two questions that relate. And the first question is, what got you into collecting? And I wouldn't say there was one specific thing that got me into collecting, but let me just tell the story to you guys. This is more of a how I got into collecting story. So I actually live on a farm, and honestly, there's not a whole lot to do around here. And one day I was scrolling through YouTube, and a YouTuber popped up named Top Pops. And honestly, I had no clue what this was gonna be like. And I clicked on his video and I started watching him. And I would say that I wasn't a big fan of Tristan the first time I watched his videos, but over time he kind of grew on me and he made me realize that there's this whole Funko Pop community out there and just Funko Pop collecting in general. And I was like, maybe I should give this a go. So I went out that March break of that year and started buying a few Funko Pops, and then over time, I slowly got more and more into Funko Pop collecting. So the question that relates to the question I just answered is, how long have you been collecting? So if I remember correctly, I think it was 2017. So it's been about 5 years now that I've been collecting. And I wouldn't say my collection is overly massive. I only have 185 Funko Pops, I believe, which is a pretty good size, but I mean, I collect pretty slowly because I have other things going on in my life. I really do love this next question, and it says, who or what inspired you to make content? Now, this goes way back to when I first started watching Top Pops, aka Tristan, and honestly, nowadays, a lot of people inspire me. I'll just name a few of them right now. There is Top Pops, of course. There's also a channel named Wasatch Pop. I really do love Mason's content, a really great Funko Pop creator, And then I've been watching a lot of other kind of smaller YouTubers, and a few of them that I like are the Pop Patrol, What Did Data Buy Today? There's also Johnny Funko. I really love all of these people's content. There are honestly too many people to name. Now, I did answer part of that question, who inspired you? But what inspired me to make content? So I guess it all kind of started when COVID started and I didn't have a lot going on, and I said, hey, why don't I start a YouTube channel for my Funko Pops and my props? And it started off really slow, but after time and time, I started to create a nice little fan base, and I just have a lot of people in the community that support me, and I really do appreciate all that you guys do. I really do love this next question. It is, what is your favorite video you have made so far? And this is actually pretty easy to answer. It is one of my most recent videos. It is the Funko Pop hunt where I went to K-Dog and Fish and a bunch of other stores. And honestly, just making that video was a big personal highlight for me, and it was just amazing going to K-Dog and Fish. I had a really great time, and I think the video turned out pretty darn good. Here we have another good question. It is your favorite store for buying Funko Pops, and this was sent in by the Pop Patrol, so be sure to go check out his channel. My favorite store for buying Funko Pops. This is a really tricky question. I would say for online, I would definitely say K-Dog and Fish is my number one store. But for going to like retail stores that sell Funko Pops, I would say Toys R Us, Hot Topic. I think that's about it. That question did kind of stump me for a little bit there. I didn't have a lot of Funko Pop stores popping up in my head that I actually shop at. So those are the only things that I can think of right now. Next up, we have another great question. It is there a Funko Pop that you regret not getting? And I do have an answer to this question, but before we get into it, let me just mention that the person that sent this in, her name is Nadia, and her YouTube channel is Nadia, aka Little Monster, so be sure to go check out her YouTube channel. It is really awesome, and there's just some really great content. Now, for the actual question, I really had to think about this one. It was another stumper for me, but I did find a little clip from one of my older Funko Pop hunts, so let me show you that right now.
Hey guys, so here's the section. We've got a really nice Pennywise. I'm probably gonna pick that one up today.
Yep, that is the Funko Pop that I definitely regret not buying. And honestly, it's just, it's kind of annoying because I don't really see it much in any other stores, and it's one I need for my Pennywise or It collection. So that is definitely kind of a big hit for me. Now, I was actually hoping someone would ask this question, and it is, if you could go to any convention, where would you go? And this got me really excited to think about all the possible conventions. But I would say the number one convention that I have always wanted to go to is the LA Comic-Con, because that is like the biggest Comic-Con in the world. Another really good one is New York Comic-Con, so it's kind of a toss-up in between those two. And this isn't a really big convention, but I'm really hoping to go to Fan Expo Canada this year, which is actually hosted in Toronto. I've been thinking about that for a little bit now, but we will see where the road takes me. This question is pretty funny. It is, who is your favorite person in the whole wide world? Now, I would have to say my favorite person in the whole wide world is my girlfriend, Brooke. She is an amazing person, and we click so much, and I'm just really glad that she is a part of my life. Here we've got a few questions sent in from a fellow YouTuber, and before I get into these questions, his YouTube channel is actually Ryan Milky 14, and Ryan, I know you're probably watching this right now, so thank you for all of your support and everything that you do. You're just a really great guy, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my videos. He sent in some really great questions. Now, the first one I'm going to answer is, does pineapple belong on pizza? Now, I'm a little biased because I do like pineapple on pizza. I wouldn't say it belongs on pizza, but I know there's a decent amount of people that like it on pizza, and then there's another amount of people who don't. And it all just comes down to personal preference. This question right here is what I'm talking about. It is, if you could start collecting all over again, what line would you start with knowing what you know now? I would have to say the line would probably be, I think it would be either Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame. And I do really love those Funko Pops, and they are really hard to come by now because, of course, the prices are skyrocketing because of other Marvel TV shows coming out. So I'd have to say that would probably be one of my lines that I would collect. I've got 2 questions left here, and they were both sent in by Corbin. So let me just read the first question and we'll get right into the answering. It says, what's a set that hasn't been made by Funko that you wish they would make? Now, I actually made a TikTok about this the other day, and the Funko set that I actually want made is Friday the 13th. Now, they have made a few Funko Pops of Jason Voorhees, but specifically, I would want them to make a version of Jason from each movie. So they could start with the very first Friday the 13th and make the mother as the main kind of Funko Pop. And they could also do Jason when he was a kid and he was all kind of gross looking in the water. And then from there on, they could just keep on going up in the films and do every different version of Jason. And last but not least is a fantastic question sent by Corbin again, and it says, hypothetically, if your house was on fire, which 5 pops would you grab and why? And I actually went to go get them, so let me grab them for you guys. I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
I've got all the Funko Pops here, so let me grab the first one. And this is probably the first one that I would save if my house was on fire. This is the Pennywise Chase. And the reason why I would grab this one is because I absolutely love it, the movie, and the book, and it's always had a really special place in my heart. But even more so, my girlfriend actually bought me this Funko Pop, so it has a bit more sentimental value, and that's why I would save this one. The next Funko Pop I would save if my house was on fire is Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Now this one has a lot of sentimental value to me because my girlfriend and I actually went to go see Little Shop of Horrors. It was an actual live performance at Stratford, and it was a really heartfelt moment, and it's a moment that I will probably remember for the rest of my life. So that is why I would save this one right here. Now the next 2 Funko Pops I would grab if my house was on fire would be Chucky from Child's Play 2 and Pennywise with spider legs, just because they're both from my favorite horror movies of all time. And this is the last Funko Pop I would grab if my house was on fire, and this is Logic, and he is probably one of my favorite hip-hop artists of all time. And I would say he's my number 1, but he isn't, because there's another artist named Russ, and he hasn't been made into a Funko Pop yet. But this one, I've just always listened to Logic because he's such a positive guy and he has such a great message. So that's why I would pick this one. So guys, that is all of the questions that I have for you today. There were about 14 or 15 questions, and I'm just super surprised that I was able to get through all of these. As always, guys, don't forget to do those 3 things: like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.